do you need to create a pipeline for multiple business offerings, customers, or even sales cycles, right? So i.e., is there a different customer journey, customer map? Should there be a different scenario for the different kind of product offerings that a company may have within their organization?
I think that's a choice that each business needs to decide based upon the nature of their market, the nature of their value proposition, the nature of their buyer. And it certainly varies from the standpoint of, and again, I'll go back to the early stage technology company who is selling a complex solution to a large scale organization. For them, the most expensive sale is a new account.
Right.
But once they have an account, they have an opportunity to grow that account, with add-on sales or expansion revenue that comes from building, bringing new product into that same customer, adding modules or adding features as a time. So those are less expensive sales. So at the very least, I always recommend the companies distinguish between new account business
Absolutely.
and add-on business. But with respect to a very mature organization that has multiple lines of business potentially, maybe different selling models going on concurrently. Some may be channel driven, some may be direct, some may be, self-serve from the client themselves, again, depending on the nature of the product, the nature of the way the product is bought. That should dictate the degree to which you have separate or isolated pipeline systems. And then usually you're in line of business management at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're usually, looking at divisional or P&L based cash flow models.
I think that's a great point. Absolutely big believer that if you have multiple service offerings or, you have new account, reps that are focused on new accounts and, more so the kind of the account management, there should be different pipelines because inherently the way that the customer should go through the customer buying journey is going to be different.
Absolutely.
So what you need to supply to them along the kind of continuum, is going to be different from, new business development as a contrast to account management. One thing that I want to underscore that you brought up a second ago, and I think a lot of people don't understand this as well, is how hard new customer acquisition actually is. And I don't want to say it's easy, but if you have an existing account, it's a much lighter lift to kind of cross-sell and upsell once you have the paper signed, you've established trust, and you've established credibility. And it's funny how most companies that I talk to, they're solely focused on net new business, which is important. But also too, are you providing the proper service to your customers and have you kind of maximized the growth potential within those respective accounts?
Well, that's obviously a key point here. Again, for a new business, a growth company, an early stage technology company that's getting ready to hit the gas and scale the business, it's really important for them to show success in those new logos.
Absolutely.
But there's a long road to profitability in that regard. And profitability may not be the driver. Revenue may be the driver. New accounts may be the driver. But at some point, because revenue is not revenue, but profit all of a sudden and cash flow, positive cash flow, hopefully, becomes the driver. You have to be able to manage the timing and the nature of the way these sales are mapped out. So to your point, yes, you want to be able to distinguish not only the timing, but the profitability of the revenue coming in the door. Because at the end of the day, when you roll up that to a forecast, the revenue components thereof, they're not necessarily distinguishable inside, but when it all drops to a bottom line, that's when you start to read and see how important it is to be able to really do this in a very efficient manner.
Agreed.